This is a lesson on solving trig equations brought to you by Energize Math. Please visit energizemath.com at the end of this video to download this note. The first one I'm trying to solve is 2 sine x plus 1 equals 0. So solving any equation, you want to get your unknown by itself. So I'm going to take the plus 1 over to the other side, so I'm going to turn to minus 1. 2 sine x equals negative 1. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, so I'll have sine x equals negative 1/2. At this point, you have some options. You can either put in the calculator and use your sine negative 1 button to determine the possible angles, or you can use a unit circle, and sine is your y value. You can see, okay, when is y equal to negative 1/2, or alternatively, you can use your triangles to try and figure it out. I want to use the triangles to try and figure it out. I want to use 1/2, which I know comes from the triangle of 60 degrees and 30 degrees. 90 degrees down there. I have 1, 2, and square root of 3. And sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So I need to have 1/2, which is my opposite of the 30 and the hypotenuse. So I knew it came from 30 degrees. But it's 30 degrees off of the x-axis in some of the quadrants. And it was negative 1/2. So it's going to be in the negative quadrants for sine, which is your C and your T. So 30 degrees off the x-axis would be 330 degrees or 210 degrees. And that was my answers. 330 degrees and 210 degrees. Second example, I have 2 cos squared x minus 1. Take my minus 1 over the other side, and I'll have 2 cos squared x equals positive 1. Divide both sides by 2, and I'll have cos squared x equals 1/2. Square root to get rid of the squared, and so I'll have cos x equals square root of 1 is just 1, and I'll have the square root of 2 on the bottom. Again, you can use a unit circle and cos as your x values and find out when the x values have positive 1 over root 2. Or I can use the triangles. Now the 1 over root 2 I know comes from the triangle 1, 1, root 2. And you have 45 degrees. Cosine is your adjacent and hypotenuse. So adjacent hypotenuse from 45 degrees. Okay. Now it is positive, so it's going to be from the positive, 45 degrees from the positive quadrants on the cast rule, and that would be the C quadrant and the A quadrant. So 45 degrees off this is 315 degrees, and then you have 45 degrees. And those are your answers. X equals 45 degrees or 315 degrees. And the unit circle would have had the x value being 1 over root 2 in those two locations as well. This is Solving Simple Trig Equations brought to you by Energize Math. Please visit energizemath.com to download this note. Thank you very much.